السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبعد. This is the class number 17 of Words on Tawheed, and inshallah we'll continue, but to put what we have talked in the last portion, which is talking about Tahakum Allah, or ruling by the Sharia. We talked about the وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, and we mentioned that there is a big dispute between Murji'ah and Ahl Sunnah, and we tackled this problem of the saying that came originally from Ibn Abbas, that it is kufr duna kufr, it's kufr less than a kufr, or kufr asghar, a minor kufr, that this ayah is regarding a minor kufr. And we talked in detail about the Ibn Abbas and how it is not a tafsir للآية. It's just it was respond to a person. Nafi' ibn al-Azraq came to him, and then again Abi Majlis, when they came to him as well, Bani Amr ibn Sadus, and they were Khawarij as well. We mentioned all this, and we said there are about 9 points we are going to raise to help understanding that this cannot be talking about minor kufr. And we started with the first one, that the saying of Ibn Abbas is not marfu'. The saying of a Sahabi is considered as marfu' only if it's about hidden. So this is not about a hidden thing. This is a type of ijtihad. So it is not marfu'. So it can be talked about, and we will mention that in the fifth or sixth point as well. The second point is we talked about that the general statement, if it's repeated and reaffirmed many times, it stays at its generality. It becomes a general rule, قاعدة عامة or كلية. And the الحكم هو لله was repeated many times in ayahs of Quran, a lot of ayahs. أنحكم بينهم بما أراك الله إن الحكم إلا لله ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الكافرون الفاسقون الظالمون أفحكم الجاهلية يبغون ومن أحسن الله حكما لقوم يوقنون. Many ayahs. So it's repeated and reaffirmed, so it became a general rule, cannot be contested by one saying. The third one we talked about is, the point was the word man لم ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله. The word man, when it comes in the context of narration, of like denial of a fact, then it is if it's context of negation. It's negation. It indicates generality. If man came in a context of negation, it indicates generality. It becomes general. Man lam yahkum. Lam here, it's a negation. Lam yahkum. It's a negation of yahkum. So when come man lam yakul, whoever don't eat from this has wasted a good opportunity. So everybody didn't eat, lost a good opportunity because the food was good. So the structure of this statement on its own, as in the Arabic tongue, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ, it gives a general, everybody who does that, not the people who only have an intention of something, or فَعَلَيْكُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, everybody who does that. The fourth point is the word يحكم. We talked about the word من لم يحكم. Now we go to the second word, ومن لم يحكم. What is the meaning of يحكم? يحكم here, as to judge. It's from judgment, and it is actually regarding the structure of the Sharia. يحكم means to establish. Whoever do not establish the format within which the أحكام الشرعية falls into, is what is meant by الحكم here. It is not the execution of an order, it's the establishment of the format. So the point here is not merely an action or execution, but rather the enactment of a comprehensive legal framework. So it's about the establishment of a legal framework that parallels God's own legislation, Allah's own legislation, encompassing the categories of both types of ruling. We have two types of ruling, taklifi and wadi. When examined the man-made laws, it becomes clear that they mirror divine law in structure, but substitute the human reasoning for divine revelation. So they take out the divine revelation and they put in the man-made laws instead of it, in this structure, in this framework. So we are talking about a framework here. We are not talking about execution of specific laws. So both in the laws of taklif, which is wajib, mandub, mubah, makruh, haram, and the other laws of sabab, the reasons, the condition, the impediment, المانع, الرخصة والعزيمة, and صحة and بطلان. So it substitutes this, and we gave this example of the law in Egyptian law states that a husband has the right to file a lawsuit for adultery against his wife if he finds her committing adultery in the marital home. However, if it is proven that he previously committed adultery in the same home, his claim will not be heard. So here we see that the established conditions and impediments that has no regard in Sharia. So the established أحكام وضعية, مانع and shart and this kind of stuff. So that's what we talked about in this point, which is the word يحكم is not, يحكم means to execute a rule. And this is how actually all the Murji'ah and all Ikhwan and all these people who talk about that with this kind of mentality, they talk about يحكم means to execute something, to execute, to he actually do this, do something against Sharia. He does riba. He does this. No, it is not about the execution of the riba. It's about establishing the riba as a framework within which economy will be dealt with, will be established in society. it means that the framework, the legal framework within which all the way that the man made see as reasoning to deal with stuff is going to be established. This is what yahkum is, and we have to be very understanding, very aware of this point, because it is the make it or break it in understanding this ayah. And al-hukum is not hukum. It is not a person who is coming to a wajib or fard and not applying, not doing the fard. He's doing something else. Yeah, well, a Muslim can be asi and do another thing. This is not what it is. You can go and commit adultery and you still a asi. It become a ma'siyah, a minor sin. But the person who commit a minor sin by committing adultery is not establishing a framework. He committed it. He knows that it is wrong. It applies to him in this incident. It is not a framework. If a person come and said, okay, no, adultery for me is when I meet a woman inside my home, my marital home, and if I do it with a woman outside, it's not adultery. Then this person, even he is not doing it on a societal level, then this person a kafir as well, kufr akbar. It becomes no ma'asiyah in his case, because he is establishing a rule for himself, a complete rule for himself to deal with this. He's not saying, oh, I'm doing it whether it's marital or not marital home and whatever. It's just I'm committing it as a ma'asiyah. I know it's wrong. Wherever I committed it, it's wrong, but I'm committing it because I'm weak. I cannot refrain from doing this. This is the ma'asiyah. But to establish a rule on his level or on a societal level, rather, it's more clearer if it's on a societal, because you are actually doing it for everybody. And the hakim and those musharri'un, they call musharri'un, the legislators, they set it up for everybody to follow and to be judged accordingly. This is what the kufr akbar is. Now, we will talk now about the word kafirun. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Can this word in the ayah that they say Ibn Abbas said, kufr duna kufr, can this word come in the sense of the ayah, the absolute sense of the ayah, as kufr asghar? No, it can't. It doesn't happen in Quran that the words al-kafirun or the general words in ayahs like al-kafirun, al-fasiqun, al-fasidun, al-zalimun, they always come in the highest sense of the word. Al-mu'minun, it always, Al-Quran, the way the Quran is set, that it comes, like Shatibi put it, it comes in the absolute highest level of the word. It always set the highest standard in Quran, whether it is in the kufr or in iman or in nifaq. Like when Quran talks about al-munafiqun, he doesn't talk, the word al-munafiqun, when it comes in Quran, it always talks about al-munafiqun, those who are kuffar, because there is other nifaq. There is a level of nifaq that can be a lesser nifaq, not kufr akbar. Like you don't come in your time, or a promise. You promise to come 6 o'clock, you come 7. So إذا وعد أخلف وإذا إذا حدث كذب. You see آية المنافق 3. So it doesn't mean that a person who does this sign of nifaq that he is munafiq akbar. No, this is a lesser kind of nifaq, that it's a ma'asiyah. But when the word nifaq comes in Quran, it doesn't come in this sense. It always comes regarding the nifaq that is zahir, is against the batin, and the zahir that he's a Muslim and the batin is a kafir. Pure and simple. That's all in ayahs of Quran. It sets the highest standard. When it's called al-munafiqun, al-munafiq. When it comes with alif lam al-ta'rif, of course, because somebody can come and say, well, إذا جاءكم فاسق في نبأ. Here فاسق is not a kafir. Actually, فاسق is not الفاسق أو الفاسقون. ألف لام التعريف is to generalize, to make it مطلق. فاسق is مطلق, but is not الفاسقون. When it comes الفاسقون والظالمون والكافرون, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said والكافرون هم الظالمون. That disbelievers are the wrongdoers. This is here الظالمون is kuffar, kufr akbar, the major وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُمْ here, وَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ here means commit the disbelief, كفر أكبر. وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. قد أفلح المؤمنون. Certainly will the believer have succeeded. في سورة المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Then he set all these attributes that are the highest of mu'min. Those are the highest of mu'min. It doesn't mean that the people who do some of this and some are less are not mu'minun. They are mu'minun, but less mu'minun. But Quran always said, that's why Shatibi actually put it in a rule. He states that the Quran often states the extremities explicitly when the circumstances and time demand it, and it indicates what lays between those extremes, such that the intellect may deduct the middle according to what the Sharia has indicated. So it gives the highest of kuffar and the highest of mu'mineen. The middle of this, those things came actually in Sunnah. The Sunnah actually gave us the middle things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in Bukhari wa Muslim, سباب المسلم فسوق وقتاله كفر. Insulting a Muslim is wickedness, fisk, and fighting him is disbelief, is kufr. But all the ulama said here kufr means kufr duna kufr, because Muslim can fight a Muslim. It can be that both became a kuffar, kufr akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا. So من المؤمنين, he called them two mu'mins. Two mu'min faction, when they fight, أصلحوا بينهم. They didn't become a kuffar. So this hadith وَقِتَالُهُ كُفْرٌ means is a big ma'asi. So the sunnah is the place where we can distinguish what is the extreme kufr. It's not in the extreme kufr and not in this extreme iman. Sunnah comes الزاني حين يزني فهو ليس لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن. الزاني when he committed zina, he is not a mu'min. It means he's a kafir? No, here not a mu'min means al-iman left his heart during the act of this, but it comes back to him. He can during the act he's not a mu'min. He cannot be a mu'min. Maybe he's a Muslim, but he is not a mu'min. Iman goes out of his heart completely. It's obvious. You cannot commit this and you have Iman in your heart at the point. But you are not out of Islam. You are not out of Islam. You're still within the boundaries. So this act, لا يسرق السارق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن ولا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن. So it's a moment or an action where Iman gets out and you are still in the boundary of Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said عن أبي هريرة من أتى كاهنا أو عرافا فصدقه بما يقول فقد كفر من محمد. Whoever goes to a fortune teller or soothsayer and believes what he says, he disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad. So فقد كفر بما أنزل على محمد. Of course, here if you go and listen to him, yeah, this is an act of ma'siyah. But if you go and said, yes, he knows the ghaib and I know that this is true, then this is kufr akbar, because you cannot, there is no, then your kufr here not is because you went and listened to him. Your kufr is because you believe that there is a human who knows ghaib. It's a different reason then. It moves to a different reason. عن عبد الله بن عمر said لا ترجعوا بعدي كفارا يضرب بعضكم رقاب بعض. البخاري ومسلم. He said, Rasulullah said, do not revert to disbelief after me, striking the necks of one another. Don't fight each other and become kuffar. Here kuffar, very, very clear that become a sin a major sin doers. It's not kuffar means disbelievers completely out of Islam. Because like we said, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا. So this is where we have to understand that the word al-kafirun cannot come with the meaning of kufr asghar in Quran. It comes in Sunnah, because Sunnah shows us what is the middle in the two boundaries. But in Quran, al-kafirun, al-fasiqun, al-zalimun, it's about kufr akbar, zulm akbar, and the iman is the highest level of iman. And actually, where did we know this rule? It's from wasiyyat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, Umar radiyallahu anhu, when he was dying. He told him, يا عمر إن الله قد ذكر أهل النار بأسوأ أعمالهم. Allah has mentioned the people of hellfire by their worst deeds, because he neglect any virtue for them, because any virtue they did al-kuffar is not counted anymore. So the mu'min would look at them in the ayat of the Quran and say, oh, these are the worst. Let me stay as much as I can away from them. So they are the worst. And haven't you seen, Umar, that Allah has mentioned the mu'mineen with their best deeds, because he neglected the bad, any bad act they made, because now it is forgiven for them, because they were the best in what they did. So the people would look at them and say, oh, if I would have done like what these people did in dunya. So these are the highest. The kuffar are the highest. So see, Abu Bakr set this kind of framework for us to understand tafsir al-Quran. So that's why we say this Sahaba, when they listen to Quran, they got things we don't even we learn it now as a rule, as rules in usul fiqh and this, but it was natural to them, these rules of tafsir. He just said it as something. He's in wasiyah, in his will to Usman, to Umar, in talking to him. So this is another thing that in the ayah وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَهُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, we cannot understanding as الكافرون as kufr duna kufr. We can't. It has to be, kufr duna kufr has to be addressing a case, one case of this of this ayah, an application, which is فَأُولَٰئِكَ الْكَافِرُونَ. Ibn Abbas said, لَيْسَ بِالْكُفْرِ الَّذِي تَذْهَبُونَ إِلَيْهِ. It is not the case you are talking about, guys. It's not the application. So it is an application. It is not a framework. He's not setting a framework and saying, no, they can't set, Bani Umayyah can set a framework and it is kufr duna kufr to set a framework. It can't be, because فَأُولَٰئِكُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ is about kufr akbar. The sixth point is the saying of Sahabi and the level of the saying of Sahabi within the Sharia rules, which we mentioned before. If you remember, we mentioned before when we started, and we mentioned before in the other class, that the saying of Sahaba if for the mass, for the general, in the general opinion, إن قول الصحابي in general لا يخصص عموم الآيات. It does not specify the generality of Quran. That is for Ahnaf, never. Because in Ahnaf, for Ahnaf, the general, specifying a general of ayah has to be with متصل. يعني it comes like إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم وملكت أيمانهم. So here the والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون, those who, this is general, those mu'mineen of the highest, they protect their honor except for azwajhim, their spouses, or the hijab, or whatever, أو ما ملكت أيمانهم, they can show their hair and stuff like that. فإنهم غير ملومين, they are not blamed to do that. So here it came in the same ayah, and this exception is an exception. This specifying, it's called a connected exception, because exception can be connected or it can be not connected. Not connected comes after, like the ayah of the divorcee, of the ones that their husband died. It came afterwards. This is called unconnected specifier. But the connected specifier, it's called exception. If it's unconnected, it's not an exception anymore. Exception only if it's connected, like إلا على أزواج, except for their spouses. So this is all, of course, this is in usul fiqh, but it is a point we have to look at in the forfeiting whatever these people are saying. So the qawl al-sahabi is a level of here. Qawl al-sahabi for ahnaf, people will say, okay, what are the things? Like فسجد الملائكة كلهم أجمعون إلا إبليس. See, this is exception because it came in the same. The people said the am can, I'm not going to go over it in detail. I put it here in detail, but I'm not going to go over it because it's in usul. But people said the specific from the general comes in 15 different ways. الاستثناء, exception, condition, الشرط, qualifying attribute, الصفة, the end point is the غاية, وأتم الصيام إلى الليل, until night, so you can't, it can't be the whole day, it's only until the night. النص, substitute, الحال, the state, the تمييز, specification, the reason, بالعقل, العادة, بالcustom, by analogy, by consensus, الإجماع, by inferred meaning, بالمفهوم, by السنة, تخصص الكتاب, السنة made specified to Quran and Quran makes specified to Sunnah, and by the saying of the Sahabi for those who actually consider the qawl al-Sahabi, because not all, like we saw, Ibn Abu Hanifa said no, qawl al-Sahabi is not considered. Shafi'i and Ahmad and Malik, they said, yeah, it can specify, but it has to be, there are conditions to be met. The condition is that he has to be one of the fuqaha al-Sahaba, and of course Ibn Abbas can qualify, he is the faqih of the Ummah, that no other Sahabi came with something different about it, and that the point he raised, or the specify he made for a general does not is not contested by another text that actually gives the opposite meaning. So we can see here that of course there are many nusus that وَنُحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِمَا أَرَاكَ اللَّهُ إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. All these nususes, many that was repeated and reaffirmed, that come against the qawl al-Sahabi. If we say that it was a tafsir, that it is kufr duna kufr, we said no. Then qawl al-Sahabi is not considered here, because there are other ayahs that actually came against. So even those who considered that qawl al-Sahabi can be a specifier to a general, it doesn't work here, because in this mas'ala, in this issue, there are they came a mukhalif, like a mukhalif means an a proof against it. So like Ibn al-Qayyim said in Sawa'iq al-Mursala, that the saying of Sahaba can be a proof if there is no mukhalif, no something against it. So this actually tells us that the saying Ibn Abbas, this is the level of qawl al-Sahabi, that it can't be, we cannot take it as a tafsir for the ayah, because if it's tafsir the ayah, then a lot of text came against it. So here the saying of the Sahabi is dropped. We cannot use it for the four madhab, not for only al-Ahnaf, no, even Shafi'i, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, Ahmad, Malik, and all the others, they said no, because there is, in this issue, there is something against it. There is something that nullifies this saying. So we talk about another point, which is the seventh or the eighth actually, because when we talked about the detail of kufr duna kufr with Murji'a and Amr ibn Sadus and the Nafi' ibn al-Azraq, this was the first one. So I think the numbering here is this is the eighth one. Who actually in the ulama talked about this point and considered kufr duna kufr as a saying to the ayah. Before our recent time, none, zero, nobody. They only talked about the qawl of Ibn Abbas, and they didn't even mention it in as they went over it. They said, oh, if the ruler, if you go to all the Tabari and Al-Qurtubi and all these, they all think from the point of view of a mufassir and alim who lives in this huge khilafah, and there is no even the thought, they don't even think that it can happen that the hakim, the ruler, can set a framework for the whole khilafah to rule with the Romans' laws. It doesn't even come to their mind. They didn't even consider the possibility, because it was at the time. This is the biggest khilafah. This is the biggest hukum, and it never happened before 1923 that this framework for ruling the Muslims, it never been substituted by a man-made laws. Never happened. Never happened. Imagine how big this was. It never occurred to Al-Ghazali or Al-Juwayni or Ibn Abd al-Barr or Ibn Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi or Ibn al-Qayyim. It happened only one time, when the Tatar came and invaded and settled in Dimashq and in Baghdad and Sham, and they adopted Islam. They said, oh, we are Muslims, but still they had the framework of Genghis Khan, which is al-Abstaq, in order to rule between each other in the matters of blood and honor, marriage and stuff and money. الحكم في الأعراض والأموال والأنفس. They used this abstaq, الياسق, and they said, oh no, this is our law. We are not going to resort to whatever laws you have. We are Muslim, yes, and they used to pray and fast and everything. That's why Ibn Taymiyyah said there are kuffar, there are not Muslims, even if they made salah and siyam and everything. Don't think that these are Muslims. They are non-Muslims. They are kuffar, and if you find me fighting with them in their side, kill me, shoot me right away, because it is a kufr to be on the side of these people. This is another wala and bara lesson, If you find me there, for whatever reason, shoot me. So this was the only incident that happened, and Ibn Taymiyyah was very clear at the time that it doesn't matter. They pray, they pay zakah, they do everything, but they rule by abstaq in their camps and in their between their people, and this said them to be kuffar, kufr akbar yanqil an al-millah. After that, after they were defeated, Tatar, the framework was set to be the Sharia again, and there was no abstaq or yasiq again. So this was the instance. Alhamdulillah, there was an incident in our history to establish how we deal with this. But still, people nowadays, they came and they couldn't grasp how this happened. What all over history before the incident of the Yasir ibn Taymiyyah and after, until the 650 year before that, and the 650 year, because it's 650 before and 650 after actually, exactly. So what was the scholars saying? They used to look at this, and when they talk about the saying of Ibn Abbas, when they talk about this ayah, they say, yes, this ayah is regarding the ruler who is doing something wrong, not setting a framework. They say, because the framework was already set for everybody as the Sharia. So they said, let's talk about a ruler when he does something wrong, when he goes, not about the judges. No, the judges, they know. They talked about the person of the ruler if he do something wrong as an individual. That's how they all dealt with. They said, if a ruler, what happened if a ruler stole a piece of land? The regular person, individual, if he stole a piece of land, the judge will deal with him according to Sharia. No. What if a ruler? They said, this from the outset, it is under يحكم بغير ما أنزل الله, because he is a hakim, he is a ruler. But here, if he does that as an individual, and he knows that this is haram, like, then this is the kufr duna kufr, then this is a ma'asi. And if he does it from believing that that this can be set as a rule, then he is kafir kufr akbar. So this is how it went down in all the kutub of tafsir. You go to al-Tabari, you go to al-Qurtubi, you go to every book, al-Razi, tafsir al-Razi, tafsir al-Mawardi, tafsir, all of them. So that is because the set of the mind of the Mufassirin, the framework and the environment, they live in this. There is no, why would they think that there will be a ruler who set for everybody something like that? Ilmaniyah. The word ilmaniyah, it wasn't in the mindset of these people. You know, they only had the case where a ruler do as an individual something wrong in his life. He drink, because many of the rulers sometimes drink. Sometimes they drink according to they drink what in Ahnaf they say it is not haram, because it is not said to be hard liquor. It is which we don't believe in that as in other madhahib, but they believe that it is not hard. It doesn't make one like dizzy and drunk. That's a fiqh dispute. But they used to drink. Sometimes they get drunk, really drunk, those people, and sometimes they commit bad stuff. They get an opponent and they kill him. Khulafa killed many people wrong, and Allah will punish them as killers if they killed, you know, with no ليس بحقها. قتل النفس is only in 3 cases. If he become a kafir, if he was if he commit adultery and he is married, and if he killed another person without reason, that this person didn't kill somebody that he should actually be killed for it. So قتل النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق. الحق is this three. So they kill people sometimes. So if he commit these things, you know, he never set, the Khulafa never set a law that if somebody killed somebody, he can pay something or be in the prison or what. This was never there. Or if he get drunk, he can pay the fine, or he can, or people can obtain a license. There was no license. The license is a rukhsa. They have never imagined that there will be a license to drink, and you have a certain age to be like that. So this is the mindset of the ulama. But unfortunately, in the recent times, some of the people who have ilm, but they actually was infected by the virus of irja. The most famous name of them is Albani. Albani was the most famous of the people, and there are other people, of course, that came them, Abu Ghudda, Fattah Abu Ghudda, and who had a good ilm, a lot of ilm, of hadith, but they actually was infected because they were, especially Abu Ghudda was as hardcore Ash'ari, and Al-Kawthari, his studies. Kawthari is one of the biggest names in hadith, is like Al-Albani, but they were all infected in this asr of this virus, and everybody who became alim, like Al-Qaradawi, the infected. We are going to talk, inshallah, about the people who were infected and how they affected the da'wah. And then we move to the number 8, which is the point who actually of our ulama who were on the right side of ilm and oppose these people, and they showed the way to this. And we stop at this point, and we'll talk next time, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.